It's Friday night in Shelby County, and you know what that means. It is time for the third round of the playoffs, and it's time for some football. Welcome into the Shelby County Pregame Show alongside Tyler Rayleigh out at Moody High School. I'm Andrew Simonson coming to you live from Garrett Harrison Stadium, and we have two incredible third-round matchups for you. To round out this Friday night, Tyler will have Briarwood taking on Moody out there in Class 5A. I'm right here for the state championship rematch between Thompson and Central Phoenix City. One team will be going to the state championship here. One team over where Tyler is will be going to the Class 5A semifinals. Tyler, what are the thoughts over there with the bill, and how's the energy looking?
Well, as you can see, Andrew, lights are going off here. All of the lights is playing in the background, and man, I just can't believe the atmosphere we're sitting in. I think it's going to be a fantastic game, gutsy game considering it's raining where both of us are. But I just think it's going to be a fantastic night of football, especially with a lot on the line here in 5A after Scottsboro upset Fairview last night. The winner of this game will play them. It's just going to be a fun night of football, Andrew, all around. I'm interested to see how it is out there in Central Phoenix City.
Yeah, we're a little bit foggy, but we're completely dry so far, knock on wood. We could have some rolling showers coming in here on the east side as we start getting what's in Birmingham right now. I know the Birmingham area dealing with a lot of wet and wild weather right now. We hope you're staying dry, and we hope if you're at a game right now that you're enjoying all this action that's going down. We're going to start with over where Tyler is right now with Briarwood and Moody, and then come over to Thompson Central Phoenix City. Before we do, I want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors for this season. That is Oakmount Hearing Association, Montevallo Main Street, 3D Air Services, and Wayne's Pest Control. Big thank you to all of them for their continued support of the Shelby County Pregame Show and for all they do for athletics around Shelby County. Let's get to it, Tyler. Class 5A matchup at the quarterfinals. Briarwood taking on Moody. In my opinion, the irresistible force versus the immovable object. The irresistible force being Briarwood and the immovable object being Moody. With so much going on and so much at stake in this matchup, Tyler, what do you think is going to give in this?
Well, I talked to both coaches before the game, and this is going to be a heavy ground game. You're going to see Moody's probably going to run a lot of traditional I formation that we have not seen in a long time. And Briarwood, they've been playing their best football as of late. Only 10 points given up in the playoffs. And Coach Forrester said, if there's any gutsy team that's going to beat this Moody phenomenon, it's going to be the Lions. And I just think you're going to see a lot of power on power in this game. And what you have right here is which defense can end up with the turnovers, which defense can force their offense to get the ball. And, at that point, that's who wins the game. I was here earlier in the year when Moody faced off against Helena. Helena nearly pulled that game out with a few interceptions off Moody quarterback Jake Lowry. And I think if Briarwood's going to win this game, it's going to have to get some turnovers and then execute on them because Moody's offense can score very fast and very quickly. I just think at the end of the day, this Moody team, after the way they played against Priceville last week, has a little bit too much power under them. And I think that's why it just all adds up right now. I think Moody's going to take this one here in the quarterfinals, advance to play Scottsboro next week.
Yeah, Moody is the number one team in Class 5A, in my opinion, for most of the season. That assessment has still not changed throughout the playoffs. A loss here would not be in vain for the Lions. It would be certainly a valiant effort, regardless of the result, going out against, in my opinion, probably the state champion. But there are really only two teams in Class 5A left who I think could stop this Moody team. It's Williamson coming out of the south end of the bracket, who will likely make the state championship game out of there, and this Briarwood team, because this Briarwood team is a force to be reckoned with, has absolutely all the momentum on its side. And in particular, Tyler, I know you mentioned the turnovers being key, but this Briarwood team has gotten a lot of turnovers within the last few weeks, and especially early on in the game, which I think is going to be crucial. I think a fast start for the Lions is going to be very crucial on the road in order to establish themselves as a favorite in that matchup. When you enter the game as the underdog, you do have to assert yourself, especially on the road, and take the fight to Moody for the entirety of the 48 minutes. I think they're going to need to do that here as well. And they certainly have the capability to do that. They've got a lot of weapons on the offense. Sam Canali is certainly getting involved, and Charles Dedman just continues to grow into a phenomenal quarterback. They get Eli Thompson involved in the ground game. It's going to definitely be a long night for this Moody team, but I'm kind of with you. I feel like Moody is just a little bit of a step above of where Briarwood is, and I'm not sure if this defense, even though they have faced two very, very capable teams in Leeds and Russellville so far, I don't know if they're going to have enough to neutralize this Moody attack. that overall is scoring 38.6 points per game, and they're doing it at a clip of 42 or more points in all but one of their Class 5A games. So I'm with you. I think the Blue Devils end up winning this one, but what a win it would be for Briarwood if they're able to pull it out. I still think it's going to be a phenomenal game. So make sure that you have your follows locked on Tyler Rayleigh and Daniel Locke over there. They're going to be tag teaming coverage over there and doing what they do best, which is getting you all the best stuff from your Football Friday night. Now let's take it over to our game of the week this week. Pretty much the game of the week for everybody in the state right now. It is number 3 Thompson against number 1 Central Phoenix City in the battle of the last two state champions, the battle of the teams that met in Protective Stadium last year for the state championship, and in my opinion, the 2 best teams in Class 7A. So, Tyler, this is going to be an incredible matchup all around. There are stars laden on both of these teams. Both of these teams battle tested during the regular season and coming in with a full head of momentum. What gives in this battle of Titans?
At this point, it's if Thompson's defense can step up as they have the last 2 weeks, right? They've played their best football of the season against Mary G. Montgomery and in the rematch against Carver Montgomery at home. Albeit now this is on the road in a very tough environment. And as we have seen a lot this season, Andrew, kind of jokingly, this is right next to a Waffle House, and it's very much every high schooler's dream to go there after a win. And so right now for Thompson, Mark Freeman should not have to go into halftime and get this team fired up. It needs to start now, and it needs to start with the pregame speech. These players should not need any motivation to go out there and defeat the Central Phoenix City team as they have with many of the other opponents all year long. But I think what stands out is that Central Phoenix City is on one of their backup quarterbacks, and it is Cam Coleman's brother, Bobby Coleman, who has really stood out as a force through the air this year. He is one of the better athletes on Patrick Nix's squad, and he's playing in front of his home crowd. So at this point, Thompson's got to go on the road against a great quarterback, which they've struggled in this year in the road games, especially against Clay Chalkville, somewhat against Prattville, and against Hoover. For Thompson, it's just playing all-around football. Their defense has got to step up. And at the end of the day, we've seen Thompson struggle, yes, but I think that defense is playing at its high. Mark Freeman is the GOAT when it comes to the postseason, and he's going to get another win tonight. They're going to go to the state championship by a slim 3-point margin tonight, Andrew, out there in Central Phoenix City.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that 3-point margin, and I'm with you. I think Thompson has the momentum in this matchup. I favor them, even though they are on the road here. But it's those close games that we've seen, not even just this season, but last season as well, that have been this team's kryptonite. 3 1-point overtime losses in 2024. We said that ad nauseum the last couple of years, but this season as well. So those close games that really ultimately decided all those 3 results. An overtime result at Grayson, going into the second half with the lead against Clay Chalkville before watching it all fall away spectacularly, and then losing on a game-winning field goal over at Hoover. All those losses, all those close games, all of those on the road. We could see all of those things happen tonight here at Garrett Harrison Stadium, because this Central team has been a force to be reckoned with. They're scoring 45 points per game on offense, allowing about 20 points per game on defense, and they've played a good slate of teams. Teams like IMG Academy, their lone loss, and they've allowed 15 or less points in 5 of their last 6 games, and that includes games like Opelika, Auburn, Hoover, Fairhope, all of those playoff teams, and the road to get here, dominant wins over Hoover and Fairhope in their last 2. What gives in this one? I truly think that Thompson has the edge on offense. They might need their run game a little bit, but honestly, with the way that Trent Seaborn is playing a Mr. Football type resume right now, I think he continues that here, and I think he gets one of his best performances under the brightest lights possible here at Garrett Harrison Stadium. But I'm with you. I think the defense needs to make some big plays, but they've continued to make it throughout this playoff run. They've allowed just 7 points across their last 2 games to Mary G. Montgomery and Carver Montgomery. So it certainly favors the Warriors defense as they go into this matchup. I certainly think that they're going to be a force in this matchup, and I think they're going to cause a lot of problems for Central. It's just really about how this team comes out and prevails in the final few minutes. I think they're finally going to get the monkey off their back. I think they're going to go forward and get this win, but neither of these results would surprise me. And at the end of the day, I do believe the Warriors will come out and get this win. Tyler, any last thoughts before we wrap it up and send everybody to their Football Friday night?
Man, let's have some fun. I think this is the pinnacle of what you call high school football here at Moody and out at Central Phoenix City. Let's have some fun, Andrew. Let's send someone to the state championship and send someone to the semifinals tonight.
Absolutely. And just as a reminder, 5A semifinals will be next Friday night on Black Friday. If we're there, we will have a Shelby County pregame show with our crew down here in the Birmingham area. I will not be joining them, but they will certainly have a lot of fun as Briarwood would take on Scottsboro in that matchup. And then Auburn Opelika will be facing off just a little bit down the road here in Eastern Alabama. The winner of that will face the winner of this game, Thompson versus Central Phoenix City, on Wednesday, December 3rd at Protective Stadium in Birmingham in the Class 7A state championship. We hope you guys can follow along all night long. Thompson Central will be over on PBS if you guys are looking for a live stream, as well as the great guys over at the Warrior Nation Network. But we also have updates all night long from the Bill, from Garrett Harrison Stadium, here on Twitter. And then we'll also have stories and photos going live on Facebook after the game. Some winning highlights as well, should both of these teams pull it out as well. Should be a really fun night of football, and we thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks once again to our sponsors in Wayne's Pest Control, 3D Air Services, Montevallo Main Street, and the Oak Mountain Hearing Association. For Tyler Rayleigh, I'm Andrew Simonson, signing off for the Shelby County Reporter and the Shelby County Pregame Show. Enjoy your football Friday night, and we'll see you next time.